opinion on youths, Nigerian youths in tech, talents, and AI. And now we have AI diagnosing patients and at least predicting some yields even for farmers and some other things that is being done. So now, AI, coding, let's know what are they about? What is coding about? What is AI itself?
Thank you very much. Well, it's not something, I'd like to take it from various perspectives. Thank you very much for having me this morning. And I won't be speaking in the place of being a tech authority.
Yes, I would like that. Yeah, break it down.
Economy and all that.
Break it down.
Of course, tech is simply about computer programming. Coding is simply computer programming. Because sometimes when we talk about coding, some people feel that it's something different, something that they probably need to get a fresh definition for. So, coding is simply computer programming. Now, computer programming is setting some sequence for the computer to react to, and so also the AI. So, generally, we know how this has been influencing the present economy when we relate it to what we call now the digital economy. And there's a whole lot to discuss, and thankfully we have 1 hour to discuss this, especially as it relates with what we call the modern economy. And also very important that you mentioned training over 3 million Nigerians along tech and other innovative things that will revamp and also enhance the Nigerian economy. And also thankfully we from the Abeokuta Polo Club are already announcing that by training 120 people, which we started just some 3 days ago, rounding up today, and trying to see how best we can what we call integrate this into what federal government actually had called a policy. That's one. Secondly, not just coding. When people hear coding, computer programming, I know a lot of people run away from it in school, and because they know it's mathematical in nature, it's 0 and 1 binary and all that. So there's a different perspective to coding now called the vibe coding. It means you don't have to learn those languages. You can actually code with your own normal language using a prompter. I think as the program progresses, we discuss some of all those things. Thank you.
Yeah, you just took it out of my mouth, but I was aware you spearheaded the launching of training of 120 youths in Abeokuta some days ago. But in terms of Naira and Kobo, because I'm sure the generation that you are training, all they want is where is the money present. How will this kind of training that you are running them in empower them in terms of Naira and Kobo?
All right, it's so sweet to interact with some of the trainees. On the first day, and going around the class and asking them, what can you really do? And excitedly, somebody said, I can actually build an app. And we all know what that does, specifically in some professional areas: accounting, HR, booking, and so on and so forth. It means that some of our trainees can easily develop an app using the vibe coding within 3 days to manage a particular system, and that will earn money for them, right? It's as simple as that. Again, somebody might actually have business in Okeneo because we are looking at our environment, Abeokuta, and the people we are training are within Ogun State and specifically Abeokuta. You have a store in Okeneo, and you need somebody who can actually help you design something that will put in the cyberspace. With vibe coding and AI, within 3 days, some of all these our trainees can simply design a website for you that will relate, interact, and represent you in the cyberspace, meaning selling for you, taking stock for you. So it means that within 3 days they have a business, right? It's as simple as that. In as much as we understand that there are advanced AI, advanced other things that we can do in training people. But answering your question specifically, we are giving them business to do in 3 days. So you can pick any one of them and tell them, okay, after these 3 days, how can you earn? I bet you 1 or 2 or 3 of them, or maybe every one of them, will tell you that, let me design a particular app for you to manage a particular part of your life, and you want to pay them for that. So that brings food to their table. That gives them business, right? And so on and so forth, because it's broad. AI is broad, technology is broad. So they could do variety of things and solve lot of problems. It's about solving problems. And human life is constituted with a whole lot of challenges and all that are needed proper management, which technology has come to bridge. We're training them to see how they can provide solutions in these basic areas. So, let me leave it with that so we can then begin to...
Okay, you're an R&D expert.
Yeah.
Now, are there legislation that you think we should be looking at as a nation that will enhance young people to do better in this area of coding, AI, and all of that?
Well, you see, one thing about legislations and policies, it's a critical thing. Technology itself is evolving. So it means that if you have an articulated regulations now, like we have with the procurement, in the past, what we have with procurement is just the tender, whatever, and the rest of it, but now we have what we call the price monitoring and intelligence unit. Integrating, technology into buying and selling, into procurement, right? So, legislating for this particular industry is possible, but the industry itself is still evolving, right? So for an industry that is still evolving, what best you can have is regulations, and then some laws surrounding and guiding the principles of these regulations, while we are trying to draft some constitutions, some policies that will guide what we're doing. But as it is for technology, yes, fine, there's a whole lot of articulations and regulations that they are putting in place, but that particular field is still evolving, you understand, and then we cannot completely build regulations around them. So what we do, or what we are currently doing, is in different sectors. The Nigerian Communication Commissions are doing their own, the FCCP are doing their own, in trying to see how they can bridge gaps in every of all the areas as it emerges, you understand. So putting all these things together is what will make us have a robust regulations, and I bet you the Ministry for Digital Economy is handling that, the NCC are handling the best we can handle. The collations of all these things together will make us have a robust regulation. But as it is right now, I don't think there's anything that is in the pipeline aside the one we are having in various sectors of the Nigerian economy and various regulatory agencies that they are trying to probably be harmonized and put together and form a legislation for this robust technology that is quite evolving.
Okay, apart from the regulations, does Nigeria national AI strategy have a dedicated budget or data centers, or is it mainly a policy document?
Yeah, it's still a policy document. There's no, there's no enacted regulations in that regard. And then a lot of people are still working on it. Based on what I said, we have a whole lot of, regulatory agencies putting all these things together. But one good thing about it is that the nation is already looking at having a robust regulations that will harmonize all these things together. So,
okay.
Your organization, Abeokuta Polo Club, how can organizations like yours partner with government the way you are doing to create more like a sustainable hub of tech-ready talents for us to explore?
Well, for us at Abeokuta Polo Club, like I told somebody this morning, we probably will become the benchmark. Every club, every society is supposed to look into the future and not just come and sit down and whine and probably go back. So we are looking at how best we can actually contribute meaningfully to the growing economy of the nation, and how best we can also build capacity. So for Abeokuta Polo Club, we have identified technology as the gap, and the best we can do is to begin to equip young ones in our own back to the society scheme and see how we can robustly begin to contribute positively into the technology incubation of the entire ecosystems of growing technology needs of the nation. So that's what we're doing right now at Abeokuta Polo Club. Not only that, we are doing technology and then trying to see how we can build people's capacity in that area. We are looking at varieties of other things because that's not the entire requirement of a nation. We are looking at both the social economy of the nation and then how we can positively invest in each of all the clusters of the complete ecosystem of the nation's economy. So that's what we are doing in Abeokuta Polo Club. We're not just playing polo, and we are not just going to be playing polo game, right? And like you know, polo is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle, right? And I've said it here, in the past. You see people wear the best of things and then it is called maybe polo and all the rest. So it's a lifestyle. So we are trying to not just remain in the luxury lifestyle of eating and drinking, we are trying to see how we can positively contribute to the economy. And it will be best to invest in the younger ones than maybe in the old ones, and that's why we are actually doing that with training 120 people in tech, AI, and coding.
Okay, now let's talk about the real issue that we have in this nation. Do you see Nigeria building a real digital economy when power is unstable and data access are so high for average learners? Do you see Nigeria building a real digital economy soon?
It's dicey, you understand, but to be very honest with you, I see this present government as being intentional in trying to build what we call technological infrastructures, right? And these infrastructures is not just going to learn some of all the things we've been discussing, the softwares, the whatever. The infrastructures include electricity, there's power, and a whole lot of gateways that will enable the sustainability of this digital economy. The present governments are conscious about it, and that is why we have somebody among us, the Boston and the rest of them, trying to see how they can bridge the gap for this infrastructure. So there's a conscious need to build infrastructure so that we can develop. And I mentioned them in this little way. Infrastructures in the area of electricity, internet accessibility, and a lot of other things. But these two, they are key instruments to development of technology in the country. We are having serious challenges with electricity, but I'm assuring you, I know the present government, I'm not speaking for the government of the day, but of course we all can see that there are challenges, but again, they are weathering through some of the challenges. And technologically wise, I see a lot of people in this present administration that are very young people and they are tech savvy and they quite understand the required infrastructure that is needed to be technologically advanced, in this nation. So it's basically looking for how we can bridge these infrastructures. Light, which is power, and internet gateways. So, and that is what is it. And again, in the past we've had about launching of various satellites and all the rest. I don't know how far we've been able to go with that, but I know these are steps to building infrastructures so that there will be a robust system for our tech and the tech ecosystem to grow around.
Okay, now let's talk about this. You've been mentioning youths. It does not mean that the adults too cannot learn coding or AI. They cannot learn the programming as you have defined it. Who can learn? Who can be trained?
Yeah, well, everybody can actually learn. And currently we have a medical doctor and even an imam attending our training at the Tech Hub right now. And I asked the doctor learning that is in the class, what are you learning for? He said, well, he's trying to see how he can develop an app for stress management, right? So it means everybody can learn. Why people run away from coding and the rest of it is because they know, they're quite scared of mathematics, the programming language and all that. But again, I know that there's what we call the vibe coding, which makes you speak your own English into a prompter that helps you build an app. I'm not a pure technology person, but of course, I mean, my interactions and my involvement lately begin to give me a refresher understanding of what it is. And also, as a development economist, we look at how the whole ecosystem of the economy evolves. So we've come to understand that we can do more, even at our age, and for older ones also too. So it's a thing that everybody can learn across board. Your granddad can also learn how to manage his life, right? As long as he can still read and write, and can still use the system. Basic understanding of the systems with the prompter, you can be able to do a whole lot with the technology now. So I think everybody can learn.
Now, digital economy is a new nomenclature, if I may say, especially to the old people. And if you say something about digital economy, what they think about is buying and selling online.
That's correct.
Now, how do you explain to someone that is watching us, retiree, pensioner, retired, whatever, because that's carry all of them along, not about young people. What is digital economy?
They are already involved. Most of them have to pay on their phones now, right? And they find it quite easier than banks. I don't know, not 80% of old people don't go to the bank anymore like they used to go queue for their pensions and go queue to sign checks and all that. They are all involved. You know, one thing about digital economy is that it has a way of coercing everybody in, or box everybody into that particular circle. We are all involved, including my mom and grandmom. They are all involved because they, one way or the other, transact online as long as you can use an Android phone, right, or smartphone, whatever phone it is. So even not even smartphone, the simple phone, you can do your, what we call that? So you can just do your whatever. So they are all involved. So the thing is, making people understand that you are involved in your own way. Because when we discuss this with some very old people, we begin to feel that no, it's for the newer generation. But we are all caught up in this digital economy thing.
That the child that's going into this is into internet fraud. These are the things we need to define for them, because if you say I'm doing coding, I'm doing AI, he's doing Yahoo. They will call pastor, they will call imam to come and pray. Let's see what this boy is doing, what this girl is doing. We need to educate them. That's what this program is all about. So let's do
awareness, right? We need to let our parents, older ones, and everybody involved and sensitize them about what digital economy is about. I'm caught up in what you just said now, because I remember flogging a child for trying to invest in blockchain and all that. I'm like, okay, no, this is just an introduction into Yahoo. You understand? But when I learned, or when I tried to broaden my learning in respect to what he was doing, I discovered that, oh, okay, you can actually have a saving in blockchains and all the rest. When somebody mentioned, what we call that in the past, some of all these financial whatever online in the past, we all see it as fraudulent activities, but it is not. A lot of them are not. In as much as we are aware that some crooks are trying to probably maybe get into same digital economic space to siphon, to deceive, like MMM and the rest of all these things that we've had recently in Nigeria and the rest of it. But it has come to stay, and it is all not, in short, it is 99% not fraud. But we need to be aware, you understand, of the ones that are right, so that we can be able to distinguish them from the ones that are actually wrong. But I can tell you for free that 99%, most of all the things that we think were wrong are actually not wrong. Like, what we call that, that the Central Bank of Nigeria had problem with before, and they had to stop maybe some blockchains and all the rest of it. And they actually, this present government reversed some of all the laws. We had a whole lot of sanctions during Muhammadu Buhari, cryptocurrency, you understand. And then it is open now that, okay, yes, you can actually transact, you can pay, but in the past, when somebody talks about cryptos, we see them from a very different perspective. We have the same case in UNAB, where a whole lot of guys are into cryptocurrencies and they do a lot of tradings, and they completely attacked fraudsters, right? Myself, we call them fraudsters then because of the limited information and knowledge I have about what they are doing. But we have all come to the stage where we are accepting this digital economy as a viable, both financial way of trading and balancing the economy in trade, in commerce, and in a whole lot of things. Even in e-governance, You understand? So there's a whole lot of it. You don't have to go to the embassy and get forms to fill like you used to be in the past. You don't have to go buy jam form like we used to queue in those days to fill and tick with our pencils and all that. Now you do all these things online. You understand? So we need to create more awareness, sensitization around the entire digital thing so that people will be aware that you can even do more. Right, this interview we are having in your studio now could be in my house, and still you will be here or wherever you are, and then we'll be able to integrate and do seamless an interview. You understand? So that is exactly what is happening. But again, a lot of people are really, especially in this part of the world, are just waking up to the realization that this has come to stay. You understand? And we are not even starting. This is just like the tips of the iceberg. It's still way deep. You understand? We have the SI now, apart from the AI. You understand? And it's so also a beautiful thing to hear that in the academics, some of all these things can even be cited. I won't be surprised if your research is according to ChatGPT now and all these references. So it's well accepted. Before, when we started, we have what they call the turn it in that will really filter your research work and all that.
I think they still do that also now.
Yeah, they do that. They have a more advanced way of checking some of all the whatever research that you do.
Give us the percentage of AI involvement.
But with SI now, super intelligence, you might not even be able to detect that again unless we have another advanced software that will be able to tell you the limitations and the involvement of AI in some of your research work. Now it all depends on the prompter, right? What are you telling AI to do? If you're daft and you're dullard, you also cannot be able to generate the best things.
So the fear of so many people, I've been to some AI trainings, and they would say, some people say AI would retrench people, sack people off their jobs. But if a dummy uses AI, AI will give you a dummy answer.
Actually,
if you're a smart person uses AI, it will give you a smart answer. So how do we convince people that AI will not sack them, rather it would take them from one point to another?
Everybody needs AI lessons, right? So that you will know your usefulness, so that you can be able to integrate rightly. Because AI is involved in all that we are going to be doing. You're going to be editing, right? And something is interfacing with what we're doing right now, and then it's sequencing it quickly. You understand? So, at one point or the other, there's definitely going to be AI involvement in all that we are technologically going to be doing. And AI is not a new thing. It's been there for a very long time, right from the time of the calculator and all that. It was mechanical then. Now it is digital. And I remember several years ago during the past administration, they talked about digitizing the OGTV thing. It's just an involvement of technology and some little of AI. You understand? So this has come to stay. And there's nothing we can do about it. So all we need to do, everybody must take basic AI course to see how you can be well involved and how the system is not going to take you out or read you out completely, you understand, from this particular system. You understand? The smarter you are, the best AI will work for you. And I like the illustration. Dummy questions give you a dummy answer. Right? So it's all about, all these things is built around the computer system, whichever way you called it. Computer programming, whatever, is built around computer system, and it has basic, fundamental, concepts: garbage in, garbage out. AI is simply about garbage in and garbage out.
Okay, let's talk about the youth in rural areas. You know, are you sure this training will not just be centered in the urban sector, because we have some adults that have been giving out their lives in the rural area? How do you reach out to them? Because they are part of this television. They also need to know, like for example, like you can make some transactions. So how would they get to know about this training?
Okay, well, let me take it from the perspective that you're talking about our own training. We look at how the usefulness of our own training, and then we tailor it towards the people who require the training. They might not require our training in the rural area. There's still a lot of gap to be met within the metropolis. and we are building it around this place. If I train somebody on vibe coding and I send them back to maybe Legumefa or Alagbagba, it will be of no use, right? It will be of no use. But in the commercial center where there's a whole need for some of all this, so it's better to train, maybe bring people from the village, train them for the city. You understand? You know, within our rural area, we're still having a whole lot of infrastructural challenges. So it will be a waste of resources for now to train people in the rural, in the city, and take them back to the village. You understand? It won't be there because there's no infrastructure there to do whatever that is required for them to do. The main center of commerce is within the city. You understand? In as much as, of course, there's a concerted effort to get to some of the rural areas. Well, I don't know government policies towards that, but again, I think it's best we train the people we know that they will be useful for contemporary needs within the metropolis, and that's basically what we are doing, because there's a lot of gap to be bridged, and that's what we are doing right now. So for rural areas, maybe we still continue with what we are doing. Of course, the normal phone thing, the app things, especially the OP and the rest of things that will make life more meaningful for them. You understand? But there won't be need for you to train somebody on how to because the infrastructure is still not there. Okay.
If infrastructure was 100%, in a scenario where infrastructure everywhere all over the country is 100%, and looking at the future, would you subscribe to including coding and AI into our curriculum the same way we do reading and writing in our basic education sector? Will you be an advocate of that?
Well, it's already there, right? It's already there. It started with holiday coachings. You know, most of all our parents, especially within the city, understand some of all these things, and then during the summer period, you see people taking their 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 10-years-old, and all that for various coding classes. And government is beginning to see these needs, and they are bringing it into government institutions. You understand? I don't know whether it's actually inducted into the basic curriculum. I don't know that now, but again, it's already there. You're already quite integrating it into the system. Of course, we do computer classes even in government schools now. So definitely, whatever computer thing you do in school, AI is there. You do basic programming, you do AI. It's no longer Windows 95, Windows 98, and the rest of it that they do in schools again. So they discuss basic concept of computer science. You understand, in secondary schools now. Of course, you know the right. If you want to study computer science in the university, in the university now, they tell you that maybe you do computer in your secondary school, and I don't know if they write. Yes, they do write it in WAEC or so. You understand? So if you look at the curriculum, it's already there. It's not as if they are studying Windows 98, like I said, or Corel Draw or Excel. That's not what they do. They do basic coding too. You understand? And then, like I said earlier, coding is about computer programming, telling computer what to do. So it's already there. Yes, fine. We all can even adopt and agree that coding is already, AI is already integrated into the Nigerian educational curriculum through the computer, computer science course or computer, whatever course they call it in secondary school. So it's there, if not primary.
Okay, well, talking about training, the one you were doing and the one that should be standard for whoever wants to go into coding or AI, that's how many months or years will it take to master coding?
Well, it depends on which area of coding you're looking at. I want us to look at it from computer programming. Okay. You understand? Because coding is about telling a computer system what to do, right? AI is a different thing. That is artificial intelligence. So, coding is what gave birth to AI, right? It means there's a particular sequential order that you have instructed the computer to do, you understand, and interface in the place of human intelligence. So, it all depends. Like I mentioned now, that vibe coding is what you can do with your own language. So, it means you don't need to learn computer language anymore, right? As long as you can read and write, you already can do something. So that's a different thing. But if you want to go into core coding, of course you could do 3 months, you could do 6 months, and so on and so forth, depending on the level you want to go in your own coding, machine learning, and all that. You understand? So you could, of course, you go to the university to study that, but basically you should have a very good, with a very good 6 months, you should be able to code properly. 6 months. And then we have courses here and there in various, technology center, NIT, APTEC, and the rest of all these, centers. So within 6 months, you should be able to pick up a coding class. But for vibe coding, you don't need that long, you understand, because you need to just go to normal small place where they call the prompter. I want you to build for me a website. Then you begin to describe how you want your website to do. You understand? Okay. And then when you begin to show you by the other side, okay, this is exactly what I want. And if you don't want it again, you go back to where you are coding. But in this regard, it's not the computer language coding. It is vibe coding, your own language. And it keeps reacting to the way you want. I know for a whole lot of people who know about coding understand what I'm talking about. So it doesn't take so much. Unlike before that we do with this operating system that you have to go and start entering CDs, that. But now you don't need all these things anymore. They are breaking it down and it's becoming user friendly. So you don't need the 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, 3 years to learn coding. With very good 6 months, you able to code very well. But again, depending on how advanced you want to get in your own coding, it's quite broad, right? And technology keeps evolving. So when you're done with this, another thing comes up that you need to learn, and then so that you can keep abreast with the learning.
The way you've been explaining, it seems easier than the way some people think. Because when you talk about, especially AI, it's just as if you're taking the whole world away, that this generation will crash if you don't know it. And now, I just want you to explain a little bit more, because so, like Tunde rightly said, they believe that artificial intelligence will soon make people jobless, or maybe robots will come and take over, the rest and the world like that. So now, I want you to explain more on how you can use AI to improve lives, businesses, and in so many ways that could be useful. Now, you said it's going to do what I instructed the machine the computer to do for you. Yes, I know that. But now, if I say, okay, AI, I want you to perform operation on my patient. Is that possible?
It's very possible.
Okay.
It's very possible. Now, there's what we even call SI, which is an advanced AI, right? It's super intelligence. It can even attend meetings for you. Can log into your all Gmails and even respond to your mails, right? So that's another level, right? And I don't want us to see this thing as a very complex thing. Garbage in, garbage out. You are the one that will instruct your own super intelligence interface to do a particular task for you. There's nothing like one robot from Japan and all the rest that, as people so see it, as if there's going to be one machine coming to take people's place. You are the one that will create this machine, right? So, it is still you, but smarter you, right? So it's going to be taking your own tasks for you, and then you will relax. You understand? So it's not as if it's taking completely away the human involvement. It is still human that will create these machines in various ways. We have SI will be able to attend even your Zoom meetings. We'll log into your Gmail, we schedule your meetings for you. If you're having whatever, we'll log in and we even discuss it. We will take notes for you and we'll report back to you. And for some of the things that is not programmed to to respond to, it could be that it will give a reply as I will reply later. So that's where AI is doing. That's how you program it. It's not killing you. It's not taking you out. You understand? It's performing the functions you want it to perform. You understand? So I will simply say that AI, SI, and all the technology thing is making life easy for everybody, right? Like our discussions now. In the past, you look for a stenographer, or you look for somebody that will be taking notes or repertoire to do some of all these things for us. But now you don't need. All I need to do is just to set up the system that will begin to record all that I am saying, and at the end of the day, transcribe it and give me a feedback. And if I also want him to give me an executive summary of my discussions on this interview or this platform, he will give me an executive summary. So I do not need to sit down and be listening to what you're doing or what you're discussing in the next 1 hour. So AI or a particular interface created will take notes for me, and if I don't want to go through all the names, I just want a very brief thing because I don't have so much time, it will be so designed that it will give me an executive summary of all this discussion. So I know all what you guys are discussing without me being here. You understand? So that is one. Two, in the past, you notice that for every government meeting, a secretary has to sit down and probably take minutes and notes. You don't need all that now, right? With very good AI, SI, you could set up that a technology interface, take notes for you, and then it will be rightly reported. Of course, there's limitation with the human capacity to be able to absorb everything as it comes. But the the super intelligent system, SI, and then the AI thing, it will have been programmed to go above the human intelligence to a level where it will be it will be recorded more sequentially and in good order.
Let's see, I would like the professor to allow us to take this very short break. Let's take this very short break. We'll be back to continue with this conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Yes. One day after the dab they go, when I see my neighbor on top the electric pole, maybe how my hold so before so and grind every day. Come on electric bill, you not be pay. Waiting can stand you for there. I beg you, come over here. Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I will report. Not the only report. Now report card. Okay.
The program is continued on. Glad to know that you are still there. And Dr. Sharif Abdurrahman is still in the studio with us, dissecting the issue of how to enhance digital economy through coding and AI. Now, one of the, I want to mention one of the AI tools that we use, there was a research and there was a fear that, the common one, that the data of people on that AI platform is not safe, and that it's violating some ethical standards. Now, data privacy is key. How do we ensure data privacy using AI, that the information I'm putting into this AI app is safe, my secret, quote unquote, is safe on this app?
Well, we actually have the data protection policy, right? So whatever data of yours that is made open to the public, it is the one you are allowed. And that is why sometimes most people click and agree to what they really don't read. You understand?
Okay.
So you're already protected.
Do that.
So you're already protected with the data protection policy. We have it in Nigeria and can also be enforced. In as much as some of all these laws are also evolving across the world. Technology is not a static thing, it's a growing thing. But the beautiful thing around it is that there's a data protection policy. You recently know the issue with Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, that was summoned in the United States for data breach and all this, that and that. But basically, there's a data protection policy, right? And also, you also recall the issues with the fintechs, where some people's data will be whatever and they call their contact and all. Those are data policy issues that surround technology. You understand? And then lately you will discover that that's reduced, being mined by the FCCP, right? So data breach is a serious crime. And there's a new regulations to that also too, and evolving regulations to data protection. So there's nothing to be afraid of, right? And again, and that is why sometimes when we are actually having some of all these people going into the National Assembly, the state assemblies, we must be very, very cautious of the people we send, because these are people that will make laws for us. You understand? Specifically in this modern day of technology. So back to your question, data policy, data protection policy is there. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that people don't go to court, you don't sue people and all the rest, and that is why you see that there's a lot of data breach in Nigeria. You understand? But for the entire systems, for the entire technology system, it is the data that you provide, that you accept that they take, like the cookies, like a whole lot of other things that you are, you understand? So it is what you agree to, you understand? And then some of all these design interface, right, they are already there. For you to accept or for you to access a particular quoted data of somebody, you must ask for consent. So some of all these things, people consented to them without even reading what the policy states. You understand? So another litigation is another thing. We don't really have so much of that here. People don't go to court and all that to protect or to enforce some of the data breach and all the rest of it. But it's nothing to be afraid of as far as I am concerned. You understand? In the past, it would be very difficult for anybody to want to use his card online. You'd be afraid that it's going to be breached and all that. But again, you know, some of all these softwares, some of all these payment gateways will explain to you that your data are encrypted back to back. You understand? It means that it is protected. But when there's any breach, it is now your own responsibility to take them up, which we really do in this, maybe for economic reason in this part of the world. You understand? But of course, I think there's a data protection policy in place for each of all the interface and platforms.
Okay, you are a research and development expert. Now I want to put you on the spot. How has AI helped your work?
Well, I've been discussing AI. I mean, that will tell you that I am a bit knowledgeable about it. And these are things that I have been using over time, right? Sometimes you might want to, okay, I'll give you a clear example of the Abeokuta Polo, our website. We didn't sit down to code our website. We use AI to simply build our website, right? You can see how well AI has helped my job as the president of Abeokuta Polo Club, and then having my own input. So the coder or the programmer can simply say, okay, Mr. President, can you just tell us how you want the website to behave? And all I need to do is just to describe it, send it to him in text. He will copy from his text and put in the prompter, and then you have it in the front end. So you see how well it has helped my job, right? That is one. Secondly, again, I probably would need to, for the project, we might need to do one or two things, right? Especially spending and all, whatever. I could do what we call financial intelligence thing by setting up a schedule for staff payments, and at the end of the month, it just goes straight up to the bank. I don't need to call the secretary to do a written note or a typing note, and all this is there. And when or if any staff is removed from our pool, all you need to do is just to remove that person from that pool. At the end of the month, you get your money or you get your salary. So you can see how well this has actually helped my job as the president of Abeokuta Polo Club without disrupting or affecting my own main job as a consultant. You understand? Now, that is as the president of Abeokuta Polo. As a development consultant, it has helped me in so many ways. I do training for government officials and various government agencies without having to disturb myself when replying to some mails. We already have a sequential order where you make inquiries and then you get an instant feedback. Now, just imagine if I have to be replying to most of all these mails you get. So, that's another way. Countless ways how AI and technology has actually helped my job as a development, consultant. Again, we also have what we call the data entry, data sourcing, monitoring and evaluation. There are a lot of softwares that have helped our job as development consultants. You understand? So I think it's broad. Talk technology, you talk research, then we talk us. Without this technology, some of us will not even have time to be here. Maybe I'll be in one of the forests in the north doing monitoring and evaluation of maybe government policy, macroeconomics, development issues, dissecting them here and there. Or maybe I'll be in central bank trying to maybe present one or two information to them, but now I don't have to be there. All I need to do is just to get into the system and then send it to them, or create a schedule that at social time, social document should be sent to social persons and all that. And that's why we could have enough time to do other things, including giving back to the society. So,
okay, let's go about talking about the training the Abeokuta Polo Club is doing. You know, when I go through some of the scheduled what you have for the beneficiaries, apart from training the 120 youth on artificial intelligence, literacy, vibe coding, and the rest like that, you said that the 10 best participants will get horse riding training and support to become polo players. How does that relate with the coding that you're training them?
Okay, that's two different things. We are polo. Before we have to train
you have to
understand. So it's very important that we also harness some of all these things. And like I said, for me, we are demystifying polo. In the past, you can't just relate to polo if you don't have, if you're not of a particular pedigree, right? But as it is now, we are making sure that we are harnessing these young ones into our community also for sustainable purpose. I'm not going to be playing polo again in the next maybe 20 years for for maybe not really health issues, but for stamina issues. So we need to consciously begin to equip people in various clinics and bring them into this thing so that at least there will be great successions. You understand? And that's what we are doing. As we are giving back to the community as it is required technologically, we are also doing that to our primary assignment, which is polo. So it's a beautiful thing to sponsor people to learn how to ride a horse and eventually play polo. You can now see that it means that we are not leaving our primary assignment to just jumping into technology and forgetting polo. Everything falls back to polo. So you learn technology, and then of course you have the advantage of also getting to learn how to ride a horse, which is a big benefit. If you take your children to any horse riding academy, maybe one in Lagos, couple of them in Lagos, you're definitely going to be paying. You pay lots of thousands for just a ride, but we are doing this free for our people here, 10 of them after the 10 best of them from the training.
Our time is almost up. We have very few minutes left, but I would like you to speak to one, how do somebody watching join your club? Two, after the 120, the training of the 120, Are you still going to
train more?
And how do they get into the train?
And you can add this one to it. By 2030, do you see Nigeria becoming AI compliant?
Well, 2020 is far.
2030, that's what I said.
2030 is far, it's so far. You can see we are doing our own bits. We're contributing our own quota, and I'm assuring you that a lot of other clubs are doing the same. Not just Abeokuta Polo Club. Across the country, a lot of organizations are doing the same. I know MTN foundations are doing a whole lot, and a lot of other corporate organizations are doing so much into training people, for free in this technology thing. So it's definitely going to contribute massively into the capacity of, young ones and everybody in terms of technology awareness and a lot of other things. And for us in Abeokuta Polo Club here, the kind of government collaborations that we are looking for is not so much institutional support. And we thank Ogun State government for all that it's been doing. We've not had any issues relating with government in any way, right? I used to tell people that when I don't know what the complaint is, they do, but for us, we've had a very good atmosphere so far since Abeokuta Polo Club started. And right now, we're training at Tech Hub, right? So that's a facility for us to resonate with, and we are. And there's a whole lot of that. When we are out of that place, other clubs can also go do the same thing. You understand? So there's already a synergy that organizations, institutions can actually leverage on. Government officials, government institutions are looking for who is even going to partner with them. You understand? They might not have all the resources because they have a very constrained budget and all that, but organizations, clubs, institutions can partner government agencies, and then in the place of intellectual contributions they will, and then in the place of resources, in the place of facilities, government agencies are always there to help. As far as I'm concerned, for tourism, go to Ministry of Tourism. For whatever you want to do, go to some of all these agencies. They will. We go to Ogun State Bureau of Lands, and if there's a meaningful thing you're doing for the government or you want to do for the state government, ask them for a space. They will give you. They gave to Polo, right? And we are meaningfully utilizing that. There's a lot to do, but it's one thing for us to get involved. It's another thing to be passive. A lot of people are quite passive, and they complain about government is this and government is that. As far as I am concerned, if you're really standing upright and trying to see how much you can do with government, the people there are willing to open doors for you. They are not asking you for anything, but they are asking you for scope, modalities, strategies, and how to go about it. You understand? And as long as you already have your pool of resources on how to actualize some of all these things, government agencies are always there readily there to support.
Yeah, in the last 1 hour, you've been listening to Dr. Sharif Abdurrahman, a research and development expert, and he's been talking to us about enhancing digital economy through coding and AI. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So that's what we have to do.
Of course. I want to say thank you to viewer at home. Thank you for watching today's episode. On Friday, our colleagues will be here again with a new topic, and that will be the last edition for the week, but don't miss it. For me, I say bye for now.